Who can you trust these days? Perez Hilton here, and convicted felon Donald Trump is just trying to make America great again. And he has been stabbed in the back by someone he considered a friend, a confidant, an advisor, a prominent conservative whose dismissal now, I think, is a very bad sign for the Trump campaign, right? Y'all know Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo, up until not that long ago, was a personality on Fox News. And he says he's not going to vote for Donald. And not just that, unlike Meghan McCain, who refuses to endorse Kamala Harris, Geraldo Rivera has. Let me tell you why he's voting for Harris Walz in his own words. Geraldo took to social media and wrote the following, quote, "Sore loser." I mean, that's true. With 3 weeks to go until Election Day, Donald J. Trump stands a reasonable chance of becoming the 47th President of the United States. Despite assassination attempts, impeachment, special counsels, felony convictions, and hundreds of millions in civil penalties, most polls show his race against Vice President Kamala Harris is too close to call. America. The first time he ran for president in 2016, he was coming off the last season of Celebrity Apprentice. I had a front row seat as a finalist on that final season and marveled at his audacity with his checkered past to seek the highest office in the land. Then, in the blink of an eye, he went from novice to formidable challenger to victorious over Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. That one still stings so much. As president, he was a loyal friend who allowed regular access. My resulting coverage gave him the benefit of most doubts. His presidency was underrated. Throughout his first big scandal in office, the 2017 through 2019 Mueller investigation into allegations Trump conspired with Russia to undermine our political process, I stuck with him, deeply suspicious of constant efforts to undermine his administration. The last time President Trump and I spoke was Friday, November 13th, 2020, when he called me at home. It was 10 days after his narrow loss to Joe Biden. He was calling to get my take on the controversies surrounding the election, which appeared to have been decided by a handful of votes in several states. I asked him what he would do if the vote count remained against him. As I reported on Fox News that same morning, Friday the 13th, he told me he was a reasonable man and would do the right thing if that time came. It never did. Instead, President Trump embarked on an increasingly menacing campaign to discredit the 2020 election. With a motley supporting cast of increasingly fringe characters, he careened from one bizarre theory to the next, offering no meaningful proof that he had been robbed by the Democrats. None exists. If you are a Republican, Donald Trump has made a liar of you. He has coaxed and intimidated tens of millions into pretending he was reelected in 2020 and the election was stolen. In furtherance of that big lie, on January 6, 2021, Trump incited and unleashed the violent attack on the center of democracy, the U.S. Capitol, for which he was impeached. He was impeached more than once, right? I forget, because, so much Trump. But Geraldo's going there. He's not holding back. He continues, quote, "As his followers trashed that sacred space, he was on the phone urging Vice President Mike Pence essentially to overturn the will of the American people. Pence refused to put Trump ahead of our Constitution. Trump stabbed the Constitution in the back. Where's the lie? Maybe you are inclined to vote for the former president anyway, because he says he will cut your taxes, or build the border wall, or pull out of NATO, or put tariffs on China. However you justify voting for Trump, adopting his big lie about the stolen election makes you a liar. Better to admit he lost last time, but that you don't care because a Harris presidency would be a disaster, or you admire his defiance in the face of an assassin's bullet. Just don't pretend that he got robbed in 2020, like J.D. Vance has done repeatedly in the media. That is a lie. Former President Trump is a sore loser who cannot be trusted to honor the Constitution. That is why I am voting for Kamala Harris to be our 47th president. And I am privileged. I am privileged because I survived the first Trump presidency, and if he is elected again, I will survive it again. It will not be the end of America, no matter how hard he tries, or it might appear. And all I can do is my part and vote for Kamala Harris, and I am. And you vote for Donald Trump if that's what you want. Republicans could have had Nikki Haley. I could have confidently I would have been happy. I may have even voted for Nikki Haley over Kamala Harris. I don't know. Nikki, like in 2016 also, they could have had a different, he ended up winning, but in 2020, they didn't want anybody else. They wanted Donald Trump. They drank the Kool-Aid. They're the Lulu, in my opinion, okay? I just don't understand, I don't like the man, but I like his policy. Well, I guess I understand it. I just don't view Kamala Harris as evil. She's not, to me. In fact, I actually like her. I'm inspired by her. I feel confident in her abilities. For me, I'm not trying to convince anybody to do anything. You do you, boo. And congratulations to you, Geraldo. Thoughts on everything he said? Let me know in the comments.